Hello, my friend. Thanks for being here today. We're talking today about why professional women find menopause weight loss difficult. And I like to ask my clients, how can we make this easier? Can it be easy? So it's August, and my husband and I were just at our small college. We both went to Carleton College in Minnesota, and that's what got me out to Minnesota from where I grew up. And it's our 35th reunion next June. So we decided to join the planning committee for reunion because someone told me that going to this weekend for the planning was one of the funnest things. And she was right. Oh my goodness. We actually reconnected with people we knew. We made some new friends of people that we thought, well, I've met you before, but I don't know you. And there was just a lot of laughing. So it was a great time to kind of make plans for a fun event and fill our cup at the same time. So for my husband and I, it was just a lot of fun. So I hope you have had some great fun experiences this summer as well. All right, let's get into it here. Why professional women find menopause weight loss difficult. Number one, some of these things are going to be really obvious. Your body goes a little haywire, perimenopause, menopause, and then eventually it usually smooths out for most people. So this is tough, right? It's a phase change. It's like puberty. I don't think of it as puberty backwards. I know some people do. But there are these gifts of menopause, this joy that comes with menopause when you're through the phase transition, but you have to go through it. And frankly, you don't get a choice, right? So that's one of the reasons why it's difficult. Everything kind of goes haywire at once. You may be having hot flashes or night sweats. You may notice that your whole skincare routine has to be changed now because your skin is different. Maybe you have a sore shoulder or another joint that's sore. There are just so many things that come up at this time. You may be forgetting words or forgetting names of people that you sort of know already. It can definitely be a challenge. So with all that going on, you're gaining weight, even though you haven't changed how you eat, and it's all in your belly. So nobody likes that. That's why it's difficult. There's just a lot going on. Okay. Number two reason why it's difficult. Diet culture. We grew up in diet culture. There's a lot of complex rules, and you're always doing it right or wrong if you follow diet culture rules. The thing that I hate even most about diet culture, you're always counting something. Calories, macros, the grams of protein, your carbs. Maybe you're counting a point system. Maybe you're on an app and they give you some sort of color-coded system that you realize is actually just calorie counting. Maybe you're counting your steps. There's just so much counting. Do you have time for this? Do you want to spend your time with this? I think it just makes it more difficult. So that's number two. Number three, control. Professional women, a lot of us love control. I've been thinking about this with some of my friends recently, and of course, myself. When you're an entrepreneur, we struggle in general with letting go of control. You start a small business and you do everything, and then to let someone else do some of the pieces, this is hard. High-level careers, a lot of times we're seeking control there. You might be moving up into management because then you have more control over how the projects run and who the team is and how the atmosphere is for the team. If you are a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, or a teacher, you have a lot of control when you go into the room with your patient, client, student, and a lot of us really love that about our professional job. So here we are. We've spent all these years seeking more and more control, and then menopause happens, right? Or perimenopause first. And so our body seems out of control, and we can't do all that much about it. And sometimes things with eating get really out of control with food. And when we're trying to lose weight, that can be distressing. So what do I mean? You may go to a work dinner and you have no idea what they're going to serve. And you get there and then you're wondering, are there going to be any vegetables here? And maybe there aren't. I had one client who's a doctor and they had donuts in their break room every day. And this is at a healthcare setting. So, for a lot of us, we'd like to control things, but there are pieces that we can't. I had another client who was an event planner for a corporation, and she did really like that she had control over what was in the room when it was mission control time and they were having a big event. But when she had been one level below and not the manager of the event, then she had no control over what was there. And it could be just a room full of junk food. Okay. Number 4, we are achievement oriented. So we want to win. We want to win at weight loss. We want to win in our careers. We had to get good grades in school to get where we are. So this value of achievement makes weight loss difficult because weight loss is not a linear road. There are ups and downs. It's a little bit more like climbing a mountain, because even if you've climbed a small mountain, you look at the top and see where you're going, but usually the path winds, and sometimes you have to climb over things, and sometimes you might have to backtrack a little, and not all the segments of the path are the same. So it can be difficult to feel like you're achieving the achievement, whereas for some of us, it was a fairly linear road for school, grad school, going on for work. And I know I'm simplifying that because a lot of you have had nonlinear career growth, but you start, this love of achievement makes those nonlinear times in your career also difficult, but definitely with your weight loss journey. There is a lot of perfectionism in work when you are a professional woman. I was talking to a client yesterday who is a very high-level manager. She runs teams throughout the world. And she feels that when things are not just how she wants them, then she's feeling bad and judging herself for this. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, if you consider it, these are people in jobs that we demand a high level of perfectionism. We want our doctor to look at every single one of those labs that were drawn. We don't want them to just look at the paper and go, it generally looks good. We want to know that they have analyzed each line. When we work with a lawyer, we know that they are there to worry about each word in a contract. Teachers, we expect them to make a beautiful day for our children every day. So again, a high level of perfectionism, and we take it on. I remember when I was trying to decide if I wanted to go to medical school, one of the things I thought was, I am going to have to bring a lot of perfectionism to my work. Do I want to take this on for my life? And obviously I did decide that, but all of us who take these professional level jobs know that we are asking ourselves to take on a certain level of perfectionism. Business owners also, you really hold yourself to task because the results are money or no money in your business. So this does not translate well at all to weight loss. In fact, perfectionism really works against weight loss. When we are perfectionistic about our weight loss, we start to think of ourselves as totally on the wagon or totally off the wagon. And this does not serve us, because when you are not doing things perfectly, you feel like you have fallen and are on the ground and doing terrible, when really you may have just had one meal that didn't go well. So this perfectionism that professional women have in their work does not translate well to weight loss, particularly when we look at control and achievement and perfectionism. What really is better for weight loss is what I like to call compassionate perseverance. If a meal did not go well, we don't have to feel like we have tumbled off a high wagon onto a rocky road. We can just notice, that did not go well. What happened there? And then move on and just shrug our shoulders and say, I see. I'm going to do that different next time. Or I see. They served a meal with no vegetables and a bunch of fried food, and I just did my best. And you just shrug your shoulders and go on. And at dinner, you eat a healthy, nourishing meal again. So this helps us stay calm and focused and happy the weight loss journey, which does help us keep going. So that compassionate perseverance is really what you're going for. All right. Coping skills. A lot of us in this generation were not taught to feel our feelings. I watch my little niece and she watches Daniel Tiger where they talk about feelings, and there's all these other great kid shows. And I think, wow, I do remember Rosie Greer singing It's All Right to Cry. Crying gets the sad out of you. But in general, we're taught to stuff our feelings down, do what was required at work, what they asked of us, not what we needed, and to suck it up. So when we're not taught to feel our feelings, we don't always have good ways of managing our frustrations and our difficult emotions. So we were kids in the 80s and remember people talking about, people in business who would do cocaine. I mean, that was one of the ways that people very poorly worked through their frustrations at that time. Now we have heroin and opioids. People overspend when they're frustrated. There are people who are addicted to pornography and video games. And the people that come work with me are the people who have problems using overeating as a way of coping, sugar as a way of coping, and other processed foods as a way of coping. And honestly, they are all on the same level with the rest. So those are the people that I meet. And also people who overuse alcohol to cope. And do any of us not use phone doom scrolling a little bit for coping with emotions sometimes? We do this. So this is a generational thing for ourselves and the people older than us at midlife. So how do we get coping skills? People who work with me work on actually feeling those feelings and finding comfort in the moment. This is something I talk about with people all the time. What can you do for comfort now that isn't this list of activities, including overeating, eating sugar and processed foods, or over drinking, that will help us find some comfort in the moment? Sometimes people think big, like, oh, I need to spend more time with my friends. And that's nice, but I'm literally talking about what do I need to do right now when I'm feeling frustrated or depleted right now? Can we find something that will make me feel better that is actually a good thing to do? So this is one of the things I work on with my clients, and it makes menopause weight loss so much easier. Okay, we plan these customized strategies together. So let's review a little and add a little bit on. Number 1, why professional women find menopause weight loss difficult. Our body has gone a little haywire. There's something going on with almost every organ system. It's a phase change. Some wonderful things are coming. Or maybe you're already through and notice that things are smooth, but you've still gained weight. It's all right that this is happening. We do not get to choose it. And there are ways to deal with the difficulties that come with it and ways to appreciate the joys that come with it. But it adds a layer of difficulty because all of a sudden we're gaining weight. This is how I got to be so passionate about this work, because I was working many hours, taking care of my kids, and all of a sudden my weight just started to go up and up and up and hit into an unhealthy weight range. And I had not changed how I was eating. Then I did try to change how I was eating and it didn't work. So I had to learn how our hormones work, how they change, and how that interacts with our food and our digestive system. And in doing that, I was able to lose 27 pounds and keep it off. And that's why I'm so passionate about the work that I do, because I was super excited to bring this to women at midlife and beyond. Okay, number 2, diet culture, the complex rules, the doing it right or wrong, the counting everything. This is just not a way that we have to do things. It can actually be quite simple once you understand how your body works, once your hormones start changing. So a lot of that diet culture stuff, if it didn't work for you before, you don't need it now either. This is what people do when they work with me. We do this very simply and work with foods that you like. Okay, number 3, control. We love control at this high level in your profession, or even just the control that you have, or even just the control that you have for the profession that you chose. Things get out of control with life. We don't always know what we're going to eat. Sometimes we go to some place where the food has been prepared for us and we didn't get to pick. We can notice our love of control and allow that sometimes food is not going to be in our control and that this can be okay. Our bodies are flexible. We can find a way to nourish ourselves at the next meal if this one doesn't go well. So control does not have to be there every moment. Okay. Reviewing again, number 4 is achievement and perfectionism. These things do not serve us in our weight loss journey. They were great for getting you to where you are in your career. But the lovely thing is that you can keep those for your career, and you probably should if you are one of those professions that needs to have a high level of achievement and attention to detail and perfection in your work. But for your weight loss journey, we can let that go quite a bit. Our bodies are flexible, and we can definitely completely have things go wrong and then just get going again, being kind to ourselves, and that will actually help us keep going to our goal weight. All right. The last one was coping skills. You can learn to feel your feelings. You can learn to find activities that will help you release that stress or feel that uncomfortable feeling and not eat it, not drink alcohol for it, not turn to sugar for it. So this kind of customized planning on how to cope with all these issues is what I do with professional women in my group. So I hope this helped you understand why you as a professional woman would naturally find menopause weight loss difficult. You can do this. Your eating plan does not have to be the same as the way you treat your career. So I hope this was helpful today. If you have a friend who's finding menopause weight loss difficult, who does work at a very high level in her job, please share this with her, or share the social media tile in a group of professional women that you are involved with. Thanks so much. Great to be with you today.